Yeah, I wish I had a perfect answer for you. A little bit of alcohol, blood thinner, relaxing, not a big deal. And again, it gets away from you. So, not everybody, but yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Wish I had a perfect answer for you.
Yes.
I didn't hear the question.
What does he think about alcohol consumption? And specifically, I was asking about wine or champagne.
Yeah.
Those are my two preferences.
Yeah, I mean, a glass.
Like twice a week?
Oh, that's not wear and tear.
Okay, good.
No.
That's just living.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you drink like a bottle of wine a night, okay, that's a major
Right.
wear and tear.
That's extreme.
Yeah. I mean, once in a while, is it going to hurt you? I don't think so. No.
Are you giving us a spiel or are you doing Q&A?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll make sure I include a couple things. So.
I do have a question. I don't want to get called away on my massage because I just want to know about coconut oil.
Oh, okay.
So if you'll cover that while we're talking, that's good.
In your diet or on your skin?
Oh, in your diet.
Okay.
Cooking with it and all that.
It's an awesome food. I really believe in coconut. It's been in the human diet, especially in Asia, in South America for 100,000 years. And actually, I consider it a bit of a weight loss food, which people are always a little surprised to hear because it's saturated fat. And I mean, coconut oil, coconut meat, but it's actually high in lauric acid, which is it's a thyroid stimulator. So you stimulate your thyroid and your metabolism goes up. People always think it's the opposite. Now, lauric acid is heat sensitive, so if you cook with it, then it doesn't have that thyroid stimulating effect. I personally don't even eat coconut because then I'm just hungry all the time. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a weight loss food. It just stimulates your metabolism, so you may eat more. We got a cute little birdhouse up there. So I think it's a great food. Now, even though it's cholesterol-free, all saturated fats can raise your cholesterol. So if you have a relatively active lifestyle, do you have to worry about that? No, I don't think so. I mean, if it's 1 to 3 tablespoons of coconut oil a day, that's not going to affect your cholesterol. I think I feel it's a bit of a butter alternative, but actually I think butter is a great food, which also may surprise you, but it's been also in the human diet all over the world for thousands of years, and it's actually a really good quality fat.
That's a good point. You're right. It's been around forever.
Yeah, and the body's adapted beautifully to it. And so, yes, it is saturated fat, so you have to be mindful of that and not overdo it because it will raise your cholesterol, but it does not make you fat. It will actually have the opposite effect because here's why. Fats are what really satisfy your appetite to protect you from overeating. Like, here's an example. 200 calories of like nuts and seeds, like macadamia nuts, a high-fat food, versus 200 calories of crackers or bread. The high-fat food is going to satisfy way more, even though it's the same number of calories. And fat is fuel. That's all it is. So you're going to burn it just like carbs.
So don't be scared of fats that way.
No. See, what happened is back in the 90s, we shifted to, and here's the other side of fats, is we shifted to cheap oils, because butter, coconut, olive oil, those are expensive. And then we discovered, wow, canola oil, soybean oil, peanut, corn oil is cheap alternatives. And these oils are rancid.
What does that mean? What's rancid?
So when they're heated, they're heat sensitive, and they have a short shelf life. And so what essentially happens is, on the atomic level, electrons are flying off, and so that's what rancid is. And that when they're in your diet, they basically attack your thyroid. It's the opposite of coconut oil. And
you mean they
so,
slow down your thyroid?
Yeah, it slows down your thyroid and your metabolism. And so back in the 90s, again, we found all these cheap alternatives. Everybody started, like I can't believe it's not butter and margarine substitutes and just cheaper oils to cook with. That everybody started gaining some weight, and people were like, eek, all fats are bad. And so then we cut those fats out, and everybody got fatter. And the reason is because, again, fats
still
satiate to protect you from overeating, but then the residual fats that were in their diet, the little bit of fats that were in their diet were these low-quality fats. So they're just getting a bunch of carbs and low-quality fats, and it was a disaster. And now people still think that all fat is bad. Fortunately, we've sort of turned the curve, and we're like, okay, wait a minute. Hi. Here, I'm grabbing
gonna have to
chair.
go, so take my spot.
No, sit-
I
you're
just got
comfortable,
called away.
Leslie.
Okay.
So-
What about, I remember hearing
Yeah, I guess I
people
can listen
saying
to it later.
that eat a lot of fiber that fills you up. What is fiber and does it fill you up?
I wouldn't say fiber fills you up. I really don't like fiber supplements. I would say it's the opposite of what people think. They can actually be quite constipating, like psyllium husk powder or wheat bran. You know, I mean, they haven't really been in the human diet. You know, it's fiber, but it's kind of like cheap fiber compared to like the fiber in plant foods. You know, it's kind of like comparing good quality oils to cheap oils. Mm-hmm. And so, but going back to the fat thing, the key is to have more fat and to make sure it's the elite fat. We were talking about how it's low quality fats, oils like canola, corn, safflower, sunflower oil, peanut oil, that they are rancid. They go rancid, which basically they just irritate the thyroid. Thyroid is irritated and metabolism goes down. And so what we need to do is just go for the elite fats. That would be raw nuts and seeds, avocados, olive oil, butter, coconut. Now we're talking. These are some elite foods. Now, animal fats like lard from bacon, sausage, ground beef, chicken, things of that nature. Those are in a separate category still, and they're extremely high in cholesterol, and so those require some serious moderation. I mean, having them a little bit here and there, fine, no problem. But I wouldn't compare it to something like butter, even though it's a saturated fat. It's still an awesome food. You had ghee in your Monday night soup. Did you all like that soup? It's kind of a new recipe here. And so ghee is similar to butter. It's just the butter oil. And the only advantage is it doesn't burn. Where butter, if you've ever cooked with it, you'll know how it burns. And it's actually the residual protein in there that burns. So there is a little bit of protein in butter. And so ghee is just the butter oil, and it's been a staple food in many Asian cultures for quite a long time. So, yeah.
So if a recipe calls for vegetable oil, is there any reason you can't substitute with olive oil? Like, is there any...
No, olive oil is
Flavor,
awesome,
though.
but here's the thing with...
So strong. I love it. But, and also, you're not supposed to cook with olive oil, right?
Well, so remember how I talked about these low-grade oils? They're heat-sensitive.
Yeah.
Olive oil, all unsaturated fats, unsaturated just means that they're liquid at room temperature, where saturated fats like butter, lard, coconut are a solid at room temperature. And so here's the thing that we also need to be aware of is that unsaturated fats are heat-sensitive. So if you cook with olive oil, it does become a bit rancid. Now, I know the Italians seem to get away with it, but every body type is so vastly different. So these are general laws of human biology, but they don't necessarily apply to everybody. And some of these things aren't going to make as big of a difference for your health as, say, they would for me or whoever else.
Well, would you put
So.
olive oil in a cookie recipe?
No. So here's the thing. If you're going to use... Right, exactly.
Really?
Coconut
Wait,
or butter.
Coconut oil, when you buy it, it's like a white cream.
It's solid. Yeah.
But if you warm it up, it melts, and it becomes a clear oil.
Oh my gosh,
You
I
use
bet
it
that'd
as
be
body
delicious in
lotion, and
cookies.
you just scoop it out and you warm it in your hands, and it's the most incredible
Yeah.
oil. I
That's
don't
a
know how
really
you feel
good
about
idea,
it, but
actually.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I use either coconut oil or olive oil on my skin. I think they're the greatest skincare products. If you look at all the high-end skincare products, it's in there somewhere. And I really don't think you need all the other stuff. the key, and the reason people don't use it so much is it'll make you really oily and greasy. The key is to, in the shower, just put a little bit everywhere, head to toe,
Wow.
and then rinse, and then towel dry. And you're not going to be greasy at all. And that's all I use anymore. You know, you'll have to, like, wash your shower floor because it can get greasy, right? But that's the way to
And
roll
it's- and
right
it's
there.
not-
Okay, you do that in the shower?
I do it in the shower, or I don't mind the greasiness because I frequent a little bit too much information, but I walk around kind of naked and let it
Yeah.
soak in for a while, and then put it in. But I have done it in the shower.
Cool.
So, back to what we were just talking about. When you do cooking, whether it's baking, stir frying, whatever it may be, either coconut or butter. Palm oil is okay. It's very mediocre, where I consider coconut and butter to be elite. And so saturated fats don't break down under heat. That's why you cook with them. Unsaturated, heat sensitive. Use olive oil as a salad dressing. Use raw nuts and seeds, almond butter, avocados. You wouldn't cook an avocado.
I thought you just said that butter was an unsaturated fat.
Oh, excuse me, did I say that?
No,
So,
he said it was saturated, which is why it's
Yeah,
solid. And,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh, yeah, okay, but
room
it's
temperature.
just an elite fat, but that doesn't go side and side with unsaturated or saturated.
so it's a saturated fat, where
But it's elite.
unsaturated, yeah,
Okay,
I consider butter an awesome food. I know that may surprise some people, and many people go vegan and they are extremely healthy. It works just right for them. But again, it's been in the human diet a long time, and a little bit of 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, that's not going to affect your cholesterol. Now, okay, if you do have some serious heart disease going on, fine, cut it out entirely. Cut all saturated fats out for a time. Hopefully you don't have to do that forever. The main thing that suffers with a low-fat diet, especially low-saturated fat, is your brain. Because your brain is made of saturated fat. That's why when we all went to a low-fat diet, not only did people get fatter, they got cranky. Also consider fat-soluble nutrients. Almost every nutrient is to some degree fat-soluble, and what that means is you need fat present as a catalyst. But you could be getting massive amounts of vitamin K, for example, but if you don't have fat present in your diet to metabolize it, it just passes right through.
Wow.
So that's important. That's important. So again, add more healthy fats and you're going to find that you're just satisfied at the end of the day with fewer calories. Fats really satiate. We were talking about that before you came out. So yeah, you can't go wrong with adding more good quality fat in your diet. You really can't. Again, every body type is different, but this is typically true for everybody.
Is there a body type that shouldn't eat fat? Like I know in yoga I'm the kapha body type.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean I should do something?
Well, I know. See, there's a theory about different body types, but the reality, even if you're a particular body type, we really do have more flexibility than you would think. You know, the body has a lot of flexibility. You don't have to eat the same number of calories every day. You don't have to eat the same proportions of fat, carbohydrates, protein. You have a lot of flexibility. And I say it's a tough one in a way to just nail down one diet protocol. I mean, there are so many different diets out there where they're like, this is it, this is the one, the Paleolithic diet, the zone diet, the 80-10-10 diet. No, again, every body type is so different. I think the best way is when you're doing a program like this. This is a great week for this very thing. You're going to have some meals here that you really like. And that's your body's instincts saying, okay, this is a good food for my body type. And
But it
so,
seems so hard to prepare. Like,
well, I know what you mean, but here's the reality with these meals. It's a small kitchen. Rosemary doing this stuff by herself. A lot of these meals we've just simplified. I've helped her do the recipes where they're easy. And the ashram does give you a cookbook. I'm a huge fan of just basically throwing raw vegetables or fruit in the blender. You know, raw vegetables like spinach, kale, arugula, chard, whatever. And I like to make raw soups, sauces, dips, pestos, dressings. If we just had to eat salad all the time, I think it would be a little depressing. So, yeah, like last night's dinner, did you have the raw spinach sauce over quinoa?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you like it?
Unbelievable.
That's like the easiest dinner here. Just quinoa and water in the pot, cooks in 15 minutes, and the sauce is just a bunch of raw spinach in the blender with lemon juice and olive oil and sea salt. That's it. Piece of cake. It's so easy. It would take you 15 minutes to make that meal.
Sushi's difficult.
Yeah,
Time consuming.
it is. It is. The ashram will give you a cookbook, and I'm telling you, most of the recipes here
They're
are
not
pretty
that hard.
easy. No, they really aren't.
So you mentioned chicken. What is we talked about the wine. What's a proportion of chicken that you think is tolerable?
How much to have in your diet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, every body type is so vastly different. I mean, some extremes would be Eskimos compared to Balinese. You know, Eskimos sustain on whale blubber and mussels, and Balinese are on rice and lentils and a little bit of beef. So it's a tough one. It's tough to say. Now, I do feel that lots of animal protein is wear and tear on the gastrointestinal system. It's hard to digest. You know, it is restorative because it's protein, but too much of it, and, well, I mean, metabolic waste can accumulate in the digestive system over time, and it just basically makes you weaker. Good quality animal protein ain't fattening. You know, but again, too much of that hard to digest protein, this is not great. Now,
How about calf's liver?
I have no idea. I'm
Is that-
sorry. I don't know. That one's out of my area of expertise.
What do you know about that? I mean, oh, you don't know.
So with the protein consideration,
You are.
back in the day, you know, even 70 years ago, in the winter, we would just have like meat and potatoes. You know, vegetables weren't in season. We might have sauerkraut from, you know, fermented vegetables the season before.
Right.
But now, you know, for the first time, we have every plant food grain available year-round. That's pretty amazing, really, that we have that. And so now I feel that we really can do with a lesser animal protein diet, and I think that's good. I used to be really hardcore vegan, and I couldn't maintain enough body weight to hold my frame right. And then I started eating a massive amount of animal protein, and I gained 30 pounds and felt great. You know, I wasn't fat; it was lean muscle. And then recently I went back to a vegetarian diet, and I'm fine. You know, I got lighter, but it's working. It's working. I feel great, actually. I have more energy than when I'm on a animal protein diet. You know, I like it more. I think I do like it more. And my diet is somewhat limited because I don't really eat grains either. I basically just eat a massive amount of plant foods.
I mean, I remember hearing, like,
Well,
they're so great for you, and then it looks like it fills people up. And
the reason we you know, built up grains in our society is because it's calories for pennies. You know, corn and wheat cost us nothing. That's why at your natural food store, even your natural food store, it's aisle after aisle of just crackers, chips, pasta,
Yeah, right.
bread.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything to make it. And you know, it's fine. It's not bad for you. People are becoming gluten sensitive, though. Gluten is just grain.
Yeah.
Gluten is just grain protein, and it's in many grains. Wheat just happens to be the highest.
Oh,
And
it's
there
a
are
protein.
grains that are gluten-free, like quinoa, millet, buckwheat, rice.
Do you eat quinoa, millet?
A little bit, not daily, every once in a while. But I basically just eat massive amounts of plant foods, and I eat eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like a big smoothie in the morning, that's my breakfast. And I do eggs, and I do have rye bread, like where it's 100% rye. Like rye bread in the grocery store, if you look at the ingredients, it's like rye flavor.
Did you get the really dense and the
Yeah, exactly. It's like a brick.
Where do you get that?
Whole Foods has it?
Yeah, it's
the
a
refrigerator?
German
No.
bread.
No, it's like
Oh,
Klein,
that
Klein
German
something
square
or
one?
other.
Yes, those
Oh,
are
yeah.
great. Those are great. And those have a little bit of gluten in there. I mean, but it's nominal. We've become gluten sensitive because wheat has become such a staple. and that is also just, there's a little bit of wheat flour in everything. Even all your soups and salad dressings, it's in there as a thickener. And the body has just been just it's too much. The body's finally like, enough, I can't do this anymore. So people become gluten sensitive, and then if you cut it out and just have foods that are really good for your digestive system, most people can go back to having at least a little bit. Because I became gluten sensitive, and then that went away. So, which I'm most grateful to be able to say.
So what would be a typical lunch and dinner for you?
So I have my eggs and rye bread with some
How do
butter.
you make your eggs? Like soft boiled or?
I do them over easy.
And coconut oil.
Yeah, I use butter myself.
Uh-huh.
I'll use coconut, but I prefer butter. So, and then for lunch, lunch is like a big salad for me. And, people when they hear salad, it's like, oh, it sounds kind of like a light meal. No. I mean, I put a massive amount of greens in there, lots of olive oil, lots of lemon juice, slice up some avocado, put some olives in there, slice up some tomato and carrots, and make it a real meal. And then to get some salty crunchy in there, I will have some of my almonds. And now we're talking. I mean, that's a meal right there. And then dinner, I make my soups. Something easier to digest at night. So, yeah. I'm a huge fan of soup.
Do you have a cookbook?
I have a page where it's just my recipes
Where?
on my website.
On your website.
Yeah.
Do you ever have grilled salmon or something?
No, I recently, a few months ago, just went back to the vegetarian diet. I mean, I would. I'm not, hardcore about it. If I was out and about and was starving and that was all that was available, sure. To heck with it, I would just eat it. Or if I was at a party, maybe. I don't know. I've totally lost...
Let me think about that again, probably
I've
not.
totally lost my taste for it. It's just like I've had it. Yeah, I feel better without it. I do.
And then I've heard that if you keep putting vegetables in the blender, or the mixer, whatever it is, that you're taking out the fiber, that it's better to have it as it is, whatever, a stalk of broccoli, than to put it in the blender and extract. The extraction takes out all the fiber or whatever it is.
That would
and
be
then
juicing, I think.
juicing, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
blending.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I mean, juicing is still a good thing because you're not having to digest anything. You're giving your digestion a complete break, and you're just getting the nutritive stuff. But I'm a fan of just the whole plant food. That's why I blend vegetables. I just throw them in the blender, and again, I make soups, sauces, dips, and.
Oh, so you don't use a juicer or an extractor?
No, I'm not so much of a juicer guy. I like to throw them all in a good industrial power blender, a Vitamix. They're great blenders. Yeah, that's what we use here. They're definitely worth the money. Really, really nice. So, yeah.
Do you know a machine that would chop up lettuce and arugula and spinach small but not blended into a mix
I'm really good at it.
with your knife?
Well, yeah, so big cutting board, big
Yeah.
pile of stuff, and then just hand like this, and you just go
Yeah.
for about 3 minutes, and then it's like, I'm really good at that.
Is that like for a chopped salad? Is that what you're...
Yeah,
She likes hers
I
chopped.
like them chopped because I think it just tastes better. But it's a mess to chop it like that, and that's flying all over. And just wondered,
I feel you. I wish I could help.
Is there a machine that maybe a Cuisinart or something?
Maybe you need to invent one.
Right?
Oh, I just thought of what the design would be. You're right. I think a rotary like that.
Like an old-fashioned meat grinder.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. You can take the idea of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think one thing that people are a little disappointed by a salad is that it's just cheap salad dressings. Salad dressings are just such junk. Even though it may say something organic, this, that, or the other, the first ingredients are always canola oil. That's not good for you.
Well, that's what I find by chopping a salad up. That then you actually have something to taste. I think people put dressing on because the big leaves are so tasteless.
I'll tell you, Good dressings are so easy. Like, the classic one is just olive oil, lemon juice, and sea salt and cayenne. It's amazing. I never get tired of it. And you can add different herbs and spices.
And do you pour it on your salad, or do you like almost like, and then pour?
I just dump it all in the salad, and then I put it in a Tupperware, and I just shake it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really nice.
So you only make how much you're going to use for that salad.
Yeah.
You don't make
And you
Yeah,
eyeball.
and I'm generous with the olive oil. I mean, remember, that's your fuel. Because I'm on a relatively low-carb diet because I don't really eat grains. So fat is my source of fuel for the most part. So you gotta add a substantial amount of oil. That's your fuel right there.
And what's your take on various dairy things? You know, milk and yogurt and a shake.
Well,
or whatever?
we were just talking about butter, and I consider that to be the elite dairy product. Just the quality of fat. The whole low-fat dairy thing is a total disaster.
Really?
You know, yeah, I mean, it happened 30 years ago, and again, everybody thought all fat is bad. And so somebody decided to create a product just riding on the coattails of that hypnotic spell, thinking, well, okay, goody,
Here's the
low-fat
market.
dairy. Now, it can play a little bit of a role. Again, if you have heart disease and you have to have dairy, fine. But the catch is this. Skim milk, we shouldn't even call it milk. We should be calling it lactose concentrate. People are becoming lactose sensitive because we're drinking these processed dairy products where it is just a bunch of lactose, which is milk
Wait,
sugar.
I thought skim milk was they took the cream off, like milk
Right,
when the milk
exactly,
was different.
exactly.
They took the cream off and that's what the milk was.
Well, that's whole milk. That's whole milk.
Oh, so what's skim milk?
Because when they make whole milk, naturally the cream does separate it, and they scoop it off and make butter with it. So skim milk is just some hardcore processing where they take all the fat out.
But you mean it's not for milk?
It is. Skim milk is made from milk, but it's missing the best quality of dairy, which is the quality of fat.
Wow.
I know it's hard for people to wrap their head around that, but it's just
I
a
bet at
just a
Starbucks
fact.
they say that frothing the skim milk has a bigger froth than frothing the whole milk.
I don't know.
I
about
wonder if
that.
that's true.
Maybe.
I don't know.
No, but the whole idea, the idea is whole dairy and less of it. It's the quality of fat that your body's starving for. You get protein from everything. To heck with that. And also, it has calcium, but plenty of foods have calcium. Way more calcium than milk. And actually, the protein and the the phosphorus. The phosphorus and the calcium do kind of cancel each other out. You actually don't extract that much calcium from dairy. So, I mean, really the best part is the quality of fat. It
So
just
how about
is.
like the Greek yogurt? You're saying the one that's 0%,
Is a disaster.
but the full-fledged.
Yeah, and now they're all low fat and fat free yogurt. They're all of them.
Yeah, it's hard to
It's
find. a regular
ridiculous.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we're going to buy yogurt.
Well, you know how when you buy one of those little yogurts and you eat it, you're like, dang, did I eat anything? Remember, it's the fats that satiate. It's the fats that protect you from overdoing it. So, the whole stuff and less of it. You won't need as much. You're getting the part that your body's really hungry for.
So I have a personal question.
Yeah.
How did you develop this interest? And was it parenting? Was it
Not
life
really.
experience?
Well, it's always been a fascination. I did injure myself, and it led to epilepsy, seizures, and also losing circulation to my arms. And so I had to do a pretty hardcore precision-tuned health routine protocol where diet was the foundation.
But
really.
even to think about diet being the foundation is very involved.
Yeah,
And
sure.
a very different way of thinking and approaching.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I mean, I tried everything. I did everything. I went full court press,
Yeah.
just the right amount of exercise, the right nutrition, the right sleep. All of these plant foods, I know we think of calories and nutrients, but these plant foods all have life force and nutritive value that are supporting every organ and function to operate at its elite level. And all these organs are taking care of this. This is the core of your health, and this is what I was trying to heal. And that's why everybody feels a difference when you live this lifestyle, is because all of this works better, and all of this is then doing a better job at taking care of this. This can heal itself of maladies like it did for me, but also it affects our mood, our clarity, our energy, our vitality. That's why you feel another level of just peace, happiness, health when you leave here. This, again, is just working better. And when this works better, then it tells a better job. It does a better job of telling all this what to do. It's like this constant ripple effect. So I know we all think of this being the core of our health, but this is just taking care of this. And so by doing different diets throughout the whole journey, I was able to see, okay, well, this food, this combination has a substantial influence. And then the exercise, you have to exercise to heal yourself from maladies, because it's not just getting the life force in there. You have to pump the handle. That's exercise. You get the nutritive bloodstream, and then you have to get it to every cell in the body doing the right amount of exercise. So
Did you have someone help you?
that's why you can't. That's why you can't eat yourself skinny.
Right.
It's a ridiculous book. Yeah, it's a book called Eat Yourself Skinny. I don't know. I mean, sure, diet is the foundation. That's what's going to give you the life force, but you have to get up off your ass and get out there and work hard. I'm telling you, this is the most transformative protocol you're living. I don't think you could do this lifestyle without this diet. Just the nutritive support that you get from this diet enables you to do what is probably the most exercise in your life in 1 week. It would be for me. Hiking 65 miles in 1 week, 2 yoga classes, 2 exercise classes, it's amazing. On fewer calories. It blows all our old theories of nutrition out of the water.
Right.
And again, all the nutritive support from this diet triggering every organ and function to operate at its elite level. And then your body is able to do more. And also, this is sort of a backdoor secret that very few people are aware of, is that this extra fat is fuel. It's just stored fuel, and you can use it. The reason for many people that it's stubborn, and even though they're doing an exorbitant amount of exercise, is because fat cells are what store toxins to protect your vital organs. So we're talking toxins from just too much processed food, metabolic waste, not breathing the best air, not drinking the best water. That stuff accumulates in the body. And in order for your body to defend these vital organs, your body, basically, your fat cells become engorged with these toxins. And then your body's reluctant to burn the fat because it would just be dumping those toxins right back into your bloodstream. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the key is to get that toxic material, that stored toxic material, out of your cells. What is the most detoxifying food you can put in your body?
Water?
Well,
Lemon.
water.
I thought that was a hint.
Yeah,
Lemon.
the green foods.
Oh.
Green foods. I consider green food to be the most important thing we have in our diet, whether it's kale, arugula, chard, green drinks, blue-green algae, spinach, parsley, basil, cilantro, mustard greens.
Yummy, that sounds
Any green
great.
food. Any green food. It's
What about
chlorophyll.
broccoli and asparagus?
Definitely. The more green,
Old-fashioned vegetables.
the more green, the better. It's chlorophyll that makes all living green things green. Chlorophyll has this strong negative charge. It's a molecule. And in your diet, in the body, it sucks up toxic material. Again, just heavy metals, metabolic waste, whatever it may be. And so you pull that toxic funk out of your body, and now your body's like, oh, good, fuel. And so that is part of how you're able to do so much exercise here. Is all the green foods from our garden, and your body's like, great, fuel. And so you can do that. I mean, you have all this fuel stored up. I don't think otherwise you could do it. I don't think you could eat the same number of calories as just like bread and pasta and cereal. I don't think you could do this amount of exercise. So,
I agree.
yeah. And you're not necessarily going to lose weight, but I am confident everybody's going to lose inches, which That's quite interesting to see just the substantial difference you make. You know,
Is
in
that
just 1
'cause
week.
muscles weigh more or
True.
something?
You're building lean muscle here. You're doing load-bearing exercise. And that's a really important part of weight loss. It isn't just a bunch of cardio. That's another thing where people got off track is cardio is half of it, but the reason load-bearing exercise is so important for a lean body is because you build more lean muscle, and then that keeps your metabolism high because your body is having to, your body needs more fuel in order to sustain a stronger, more powerful machine. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the hiking is so transformative here. It's not just cardio. That is load-bearing exercise because you're lugging your body weight up and down thousands of vertical feet. You're working the biggest muscles in your body. You build these, keeps your metabolism up. So hiking, that's the best weight loss exercise there ever was, assuming you have hills. If you don't have hills, do stairs. Carry weights in your hands.
Oh, it's stairs.
What do you think about alkaline water?
I think it's good. You know, water's a tough one. You know, I mean, personally, it is what we put most into our body, second to oxygen. So, at the very least, filtered water, reverse osmosis is distilled and reverse osmosis is the best. Just your water.
I seem to remember in chemistry class in high school that distilled water you weren't supposed to drink. I never understood it.
Well, you're right. Distilled water, it's okay to drink, but it's just very flat. It does, so the best water
So it's
is
not poisonous? I thought it was.
no, it's definitely not poisonous. The best water, I'll explain. The best water is fresh spring water. Like,
As long as it's tested.
yeah, and I'm not talking about like something that you
spring.
buy off the shelf at the grocery store. Like fresh spring water. The reason is it's been churning over rocks, and it creates this this ionization, and that's why when it evaporates and falls as a snowflake, it's this beautiful pattern. You're seeing the molecular structure that happens in the water, and even though you can't see it in a glass of water, it's there. Spring water. Now, distilled water doesn't have anything.
If you can't have that, then.
Right, so if distilled water evaporated and fell, it would actually just be pellets. And that ionized water, it has a charge to it, and your body is just very akin to soak it up. Where just drinking a lot of filtered water, it's great. I mean, it's definitely better than going dehydrated. I mean, it's good, it's not great. But you just have to drink more of it because it does just kind of pass right through.
Wait, you mean the filters, like whatever, Brita filter?
Those are totally insufficient. They just filter out chunks and chlorine. Chlorine is actually a pretty big chunk.
So, yes, filter your water, or no, it doesn't?
So the kind of filter you want is a reverse osmosis filter. I know it sounds technical, but they're incredibly basic, and any plumber will know exactly what that is. You call any plumber service and you tell them I want a reverse osmosis filter, and they come and install it under your kitchen sink.
And
then they actually,
everything out.
yes,
I know
it's
they do that in the
extremely
beverage
purifying.
industry. They take
Yes,
the water,
it's good.
reverse osmosis, and then
Yes.
they put stuff back in.
Now it's not going to have that molecular alkaline ionized charge. And so what I have actually, it's a water ionizer where it's like a pitcher, and you fill it up with water and it spins it around. It's essentially just mocking what's happening out in nature. There's a mineral basket in the bottom, and I can taste the difference.
And who makes that one?
The brand is Vitalizer Plus. VitalizerPlus.net.
So if you're going to do
And they're good. I mean, they're a little cheesy and whatever. I mean, you're basically just putting water in a blender and then it runs for 10 minutes and then you're golden. And to me, it's worth it. You know, I make a gallon of water and that's my water for the day. So the other option is you can get these water ionizers where it's a water filter and ionizer all in one, but it's not. It doesn't have the reverse osmosis filter, which is substantially more purifying than just one of those all-in-one sort of filters. So, I mean, you could get both. You could get your water ionizer that's fed by the reverse osmosis purifier. So it sounds technical, but
You
But
could put
you
the
don't-
reverse osmosis on the house when it comes in, and then
That
you
is
put the
great.
water
That's the best way to
ionize,
go.
right? Because you don't want all those chemicals that you're breathing in
Right.
going in your pores.
yes, that's absolutely brilliant. You can get a whole
You
house.
take a shower and
Yeah, you like breathe them in and it goes in you.
Yeah, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the times where you can absorb the most chlorine is in the shower, because when it's coming out of the shower head, it just turns to gas because it's hot water and you're inhaling that. And so,
Dishwasher too.
and so with your shower, you can actually just buy a carbon filter. Just go on Amazon and get search for a shower filter, and it's just this thing. You screw the shower head off and screw this plastic thing on, and screw the shower head onto that. And it's not a fancy filter, but remember, chlorine, those are pretty big chunks, and it does get the chlorine out. And so at the very least, do that. But you can get whole house purifiers, where either it's a carbon filter or reverse osmosis. You can get both.
Back to that question, though, because of the pH water. I mean, it's just
Alkaline water?
yeah, the alkaline water, the 9.5 water. Why aren't you onto that? I mean, why don't you believe in that?
It's good technology. I just don't think the filtration that they have in them is really sufficient for if you live in Los Angeles.
Even the ones that you put in your home. I'm not talking about just buying Essentia water.
Are you talking about like the Kangen water
Kangen,
brand? Yeah. The filtration I would consider to be insufficient. They're nice purifiers. I mean, they're nice ionizers, but really it should be fed by a better quality water filter.
That's interesting.
I don't know why nobody's done an all-in-one, like a reverse osmosis and ionizer all in one.
Well,
Huh?
after figuring out the lettuce chopper.
yeah.
Right.
You're into business.
Really, it is kind of surprising. It wouldn't be anything too fancy.
So the Kangen doesn't give enough ion, whatever you said.
It doesn't do enough filtration.
Cleaning the water.
It's definitely an ionizer. It's a decent technology, but I want something that really cleans the water.
What if you're putting it on spring-fed? My water is coming from a spring.
Oh, well, there's nothing better than just fresh spring water. I would consider the
don't mess
water
with it.
ionizer to be completely unnecessary. Spring water's the best.
I do at the farm.
Spring water's the best. Yeah.
How about New York City water that everyone
I
says
don't
is
know.
the best?
I have no idea. Yeah. At least a good water filter. Reverse osmosis water filter.
But then you have to put the ions back in.
Right. I mean, it is stripped of any minerals and ionization. That's why I use that in combination with this Vitalizer Plus thing. That again is just mocking what's happening out in nature. That water just churning over rocks for hours and hours. That's what creates that molecular structure.
I talked to a guy at a factory that made water. Maybe it was, I don't know which brand it was. I can't remember. I said, so how does it work? And he said, first we do reverse osmosis. We just take the water from the town, whatever it was. Take all the water out. Take all the stuff out with reverse osmosis. And put a bunch of stuff back in and stick in the bottle. I said, wow, really? What do you drink? He goes, water from the tap. And it was, I forget if it was Don Stan. It was some big beverage manufacturing company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think what do you think about bottled water in general?
Man, I kind of avoid it myself because it's just been sitting in a warehouse for more than days, weeks, months probably. And plastic does leach stuff into liquid. It just does. Now, if it's a refrigerated product, like, trying to think what I buy. I mean, I buy half and half. But even the yogurt that I buy, it's in a glass container. With dairy products especially.
Yeah, now
I only go
selling
like.
milk again in glass bottles.
Yeah.
You can get yogurt in glass. I've never
Yeah.
seen that in DC.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
try to
glasses
avoid buying
everywhere.
anything in plastic anymore. Plastic's not good. It does leach contaminants. And so, if I'm thirsty, I'll go buy a bottle of water. Fine. But every day, drinking bottled water, I don't think is good. Now, getting water delivered is a little different. because they fill those bottles, and they're not going to be sitting around as long as, like, you know, a bottle of water that you buy at the grocery store.
Oh, I see, yeah, and they are plastic, right?
We actually fill those here. And again, if water's only sitting in plastic for a few days or weeks, that's not a big deal. It's when they're just sitting there for months and months that, you know, again, over that period of time, plastic stuff definitely leaches.
So where's that water coming from that we fill our back?
We have a reverse osmosis purifier.
Here.
Yeah.
You ionize the water too?
Yeah, no. It takes, you wouldn't get very much volume.
Right,
Yeah.
because you don't have the
It's
bigger system.
constricted and it's expensive to buy the purifier. Well, what do you think of, like, have you ever heard of Red Canoe?
Red Canoe, is it like a bottled water company?
No, they're a company, it's a new company that's providing, that we have in our office that provides, does that whole process.
Okay.
And,
And delivers the water?
no, the water is your water.
Oh.
It's been,
Reverse osmosis
Uh-huh.
and then re-ionize.
right,
Really?
and they can,
Oh, they're onto something.
and they can change the pH. Is that part of ionization? See, I don't know. if
I don't
somebody's-
know. See, I don't know what Red Canoe is, but you're saying it's a reverse osmosis filter with ionization?
I think so.
Oh.
I'll find out and I'll get in touch with, I'll read the literature.
I'll look it
and
up
send
too.
to you.
Hmm.
Is your
And
memory
you have
good
it at your
enough to
office.
remember the name of that place?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All those plant foods.
And you have it at your office and
We
it
do.
tastes
I'm
good,
not
or-
really sure all the attributes, but I'm curious now because I don't know all this. Everybody in my family uses Kangen water, so that was what was interesting to me.
And how about sugar? What's your take on
Ooh.
sugar, agave, honey?
Good one. Well,
Stevia. What's
yeah,
the
so
things
the
in there?
key is to just have frequent fruit, a couple times a day, morning, afternoon. Law of human biology, most of us have a sweet tooth because the body needs sugar. It's glucose. Glucose is brain fuel. Where carbs, fats, those are fuel, but it can take hours for them to be converted. That's why when you're really starving, eat a piece of fruit first, like right away, and then eat food right after that. You don't have to wait. Just get something in there, brain fuel.
Oh, that's why for digestion too, you want to have your fruit first, because it digests more quickly. right?
Yes.
So you don't want it sitting on top of all your other food.
Well, it ferments a little bit. It would make you a
Right.
little gassy.
Gassy.
It's not bad for you, but you got to have some sugar in your diet. And the elite sugar is fruit. The elite fruit I consider to be berries, the more nutritive stuff. You know, stuff that isn't so high sugar and high glycemic, which means it just digests quicker. So, you know, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, those are where it's at.
Grapes, are they in that category?
They're okay. They're okay. You know, high water content fruit is awesome. Grapes are awesome. So watermelon, pears, high water content fruits. So your higher glycemic, higher sugar fruit, I would say, are tropical fruits like banana, mango, pineapple. And those are good, but it's better to use them as sweeteners in a smoothie.
Better than what? Better than just eating one?
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad to eat one, but it's a lot of sugar to just have by itself, and I like to use them for some purpose. And they're not as nutritive as, say, berries. So having something in the morning and afternoon, again, you're just keeping your sweet tooth happy so that later in the day, or if you're at a dinner party or out with friends, you're not just so akin to just eat a whole bunch of processed sugar. Processed sugar is more wear and tear on the body than people know. It's a lot of wear and tear. It's not good. Processed sugar is not good. Now the key to fruit sugar and also other sugar like honey, agave, dried fruit, in order for it to really satisfy, have it with protein fats. Nuts and seeds, yogurt. That's why like nuts and seeds, or excuse me, fruit, dried fruit and nuts are such a popular combination. Fruit and yogurt. Instinctively, the body likes to have protein fats with fruit. It's a little more sustaining. Just fruit by itself, you're going to be hungry minutes later. You know, it's instant brain fuel, but then you're hungry. where it's the protein fat that really satisfies, and that's fuel. It'll sustain you.
What do you
So
think?
that's why I'm such a fan of smoothies. It's like, you're not just blending up a bunch of pineapple. You're making it this well-rounded meal by putting some pineapple or a banana and or strawberries in there with some whole yogurt, some almond butter. Get those protein fats in there. Add the greens. Get some nutritive stuff in there. And now, okay, it's like this well-rounded
Okay,
meal.
I'm afraid of those things because I'm afraid that I'll just drink the whole thing and still be hungry. And so now I've just had all those whatever
Right.
calories. or
See,
something.
nobody thinks of being satisfied by smoothies because for most people it's just a bunch of blended fruit. So you will be hungry just minutes later, and you've also just consumed a lot of fruit. I mean, a lot of sugar.
Right.
So the key is protein fats in there. Whole yogurt. See, people aren't satisfied by smoothies because they're all using low-fat yogurt.
Right.
So I use raw almond butter and yogurt together, and I use a lot of almond butter. I think almonds are an amazing food.
So what about protein powders like J-Robs, the egg white or the whey or any of that whey, however you say it?
Egg white stuff and whey I do not like.
So what would you use instead?
Well, I mean, not to brag, but I use my own.
You have that too?
Yeah, we put some of my protein in your morning drink, and it's just plant foods. It's sprouted brown rice, hemp, milk thistle, and so it's just raw organic plant foods, and it's much easier to digest. So, but I am a fan of protein powder myself, just because again I'm on a vegetarian diet, and my body does require a lot of protein. So I have some in my morning smoothie. If I work out in the afternoon, I shake stuff up in a water bottle to have afterwards.
But that's the green
So.
stuff?
No, it's a separate formula. I have my greens, I have a vitamin C formula, and I have my protein formula. So.
What do you think about peanut butter?
Well, peanuts are fair. You know, it's they definitely don't have any nutritive value. It's that protein fat that satisfies.
You're kidding me.
Well, so peanuts, all peanut butter is roasted.
It's like the greatest thing in the world.
All peanuts are roasted because a kind of fungus grows on raw peanuts. I know they're flavorful, but you got to remember, roasted nuts and seeds, rancid oils, you know, and they make you tired. You know, they're high in tryptophan. So it's a nice
Same
dessert
thing as
food.
turkey, right?
Yeah. So I mean, have a little bit here and there, but I wouldn't like have peanut butter on your apple every day. Almond
Thinking
butter.
about my kids.
Oh
I
yeah,
know it, but
now
you're saying have almond butter instead.
try
Yeah, almond butter.
try both. So the way to get kids to love almond butter is stir some honey in there
Okay.
and salt.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
stir
mean, they
some
have
honey and
almond
salt.
butter, but two of my kids prefer peanut butter.
Right.
And I try and
Yeah.
I like it better than some other alternatives, but
Yeah.
I'm aware of the.
And what other nut butters? I mean, almond butter is about the only other one that you see a
Cashew
lot.
nut butter?
Yeah, I mean you can find
Yeah,
there's
cashew,
sometimes
pistachio.
And
Yeah.
what about hemp seeds? Like,
They're a great food.
does that come in a butter form?
I think so. I think I've seen hemp seed butter. Sure. Yeah, it's just ground hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are cool. I like to put them in smoothies. It's like a creamer because it's a non-fibrous seed,
Oh really?
and so it blends totally smooth. It's what we use to make our milk here.
Yeah, is there a recipe for that
Oh, I
milk?
love your hemp milk.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
You can. All it is hemp seeds and water. You can
But
put a
don't you
little
have to
honey
do
in there.
something to the hemp seeds?
No, that's
Blend
almonds.
them in the Vitamix.
Almond water takes. Almond milk takes a little bit of work. Where hemp seeds just in a blender with some water and that's it.
Because
You can make
there's
it
no fiber to it.
any consistency you want. Yeah.
So cool. Because
Well, it's
almonds
totally
you have
smooth.
to press, do your
Right.
squeezing.
Right. There's some labor.
Oh my gosh.
And in the hemp milk that we've had here, there's no agave in it. That tastes so delicious.
If there is, not very much. I'm not sure, actually.
And what is your take on agave nectar? I mean,
It's a processed sugar. It definitely doesn't have any nutritive value. I consider it a better alternative to processed white sugar. Now, if you want to use it as a sweetener for something healthy. Now, other sources of natural sugar, aside from fruit, that I would consider to be far superior to agave is honey.
really?
Honey, it's a lot of sugar, but it actually has medicinal value. You know, it's stimulating for your immune system. It's a wonderful food. So, yeah, honey's
and I
awesome.
heard at one point that people with diabetes, that agave is, I don't know if the word is hypoglycemic or something, that there's something about agave nectar that let a diabetic have sugar.
Mm,
No,
it's a little lower glycemic, but it is just processed sugar. There was a whole buzz about it, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, this cactus sugar, this cactus
Yeah.
syrup is an alternative to processed sugar. No, it's processed sugar. Again, use it as a sweetener to make something otherwise not so desirable.
And what about some of those fake ones, like, I don't know what stevia is, but isn't that like a...
Stevia is an herb.
Oh, is that
It's a
what it is?
non-caloric herb, and it has a sweet flavor to it. It's a good alternative. The catch is, flavor-wise, it doesn't work with everything, because it is a slightly different flavor. And most stevia products now, they're just so heavily processed. They look like cocaine. And it's a whole leaf, and you can buy stevia where it's still like this green powder. It's just a whole leaf powder ground up. It has a little more of a flavor to it, so again, it works with some things, not all things, where the bleached stevia is a little closer to sugar. It's okay. You can always use part stevia, part honey, part stevia, part maple syrup. Maple syrup's another awesome sweetener. Again, the drawback being that it doesn't, flavor-wise, doesn't work with everything, but it's tree sap. It's a relatively nutritive food. But again, stick with some regular berries and protein fats, and that's the way to roll. Almond butter with an apple, nuts and seeds, smoothie. Cool, you guys. I see some eyelids getting heavy.
I'm so interested in what you're saying, but I'm conking out. And I could see, I know you from a few years ago, and your body is different, right? Weren't you, like, super skinny?
I was years and years ago, and then I gained a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
Just doing a bunch of load-bearing exercise. And now I've slimmed down. I'm kind of in the middle. So.
Yeah, I think I met you when you first came here.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. That was a long time ago.
How did they find you?
My friend Chalo had been working here, and we go way back, and they needed somebody and called me up. I was in Atlanta. I was like, sure, I'll come out there.
Doing nutrition and...
Yeah, I worked as a trainer.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
With a more holistic approach than most.
Yeah.
So is your sales of your products your full-time business now?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then doing stuff here.
Well, I just drop in once a week, say hi.
Are
hang out with you guys.
are you in any stores? Your
Yeah.
products?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Fabulous.
exciting.
What's the
You should be so
website?
proud. That's unreal.
Infinity
It
Greens.
is, isn't it amazing?
Yeah,
It's
I'm so
fabulous.
inspired.
Thanks,
All
I
you
appreciate
guys
that.
are so darn inspiring.
Thank you.
It's really
Yeah,
amazing.
really great.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Have you hit any Whole
Infinity
Foods
Greens.
yet?
Man, I've been corresponding with them. It is so difficult
Yeah,
to
I've
get your
heard
stuff
that.
in there.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
No, I've heard that from people in the beverage industry, and that apparently if you can get into one, and then prove yourself there, then they're willing to look at you for others.
Right. So that's what I'm doing now.
I'd be happy to take your stuff into my Whole Foods in DC, where I should live there or work there.
I appreciate that.
I'm not kidding. I will. Well, I'll just take my bottle in that I'll get, right, and talk to them about it.
Yeah, it's so hard. They'll be like, well,
But we've got in DC, we've got a lot of very local
Yeah.
things that you don't
Mhm.
find in Pennsylvania, where my parents are.
Mhm.
You don't find, and it's like local, really local stuff.
Mhm.
Granted, you're not local,
Mhm.
but they seem to respond well to.
Yeah. Well,
Can't hurt, right?
yeah. Every
Wouldn't that be
regional
exciting?
buyer is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me know how it goes.
Okay.
Sure. Why not? Walk in
Okay,
there.
there's one other food that I love, and I started making it about 10 years ago, and it was a pain in the neck, but it was fun. And now you can buy it, and it's really expensive, and that's kombucha tea.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I make it.
Do you do? Do
Mhm.
you sell it?
No. It's super
Oh.
easy. Have you had kombucha before?
I have. It made me really sick.
Oh.
I had severe digestive issues, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I stopped one thing, and I stopped another thing, and then a friend of mine was like, Courtney, how long has it been going on? Well, so-and-so. Isn't that when you started drinking kombucha at least once a day? I was like, yeah. And literally, I stopped, and I mean, I remember it as being the next day. I was absolutely fine.
I don't
Isn't
know
that
what
weird?
it is.
It's fermented.
Almost tastes like vinegar tea or something. I don't know. It's neat. I like it.
Yeah, try one. You can get them at any natural
So
food
you make
store.
your own. You've got the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, you were.
The
I'm
whole.
so
Really?
impressed.
I did. In fact, my daughter one day said, "Are you running a distillery here?" Because there's a whole process. It's got to like sit for a while, right? And
Yeah.
Wow.
eat up the mushroom, or I forget how it all went.
So what do you think that just the, I mean, my understanding was digestively was, well, that was one of the benefits of kombucha.
That's a bit
And-
of a probiotic drink. I wouldn't say
So
it's
why do
medicinal
you
or
think, I
anything.
mean, should I try, I mean, I went cold turkey stop because I was so uncomfortable. Should I
It's
just
not
try
a
a
fit for
different?
you.
Well, I know, it might
It's
not
like
be
it's
for me,
something
or
that's
it
not
could be
good.
a different brand, or it could, you know,
I've always liked the Synergy brand.
that's what I was drinking, the
Uh-huh.
cranberry, cosmic cranberry,
Okay.
which,
So it's just not right for you.
I
and you
guess
just
it
like
might
milk
not
isn't
be.
right
But I
for
make
you.
it myself. Now I just brew up. It's simple: black tea, sugar, massive amounts of ginger, and then when you add this mushroom culture to it, it eats up all the sugar and produces the fermentation. So,
So where'd you get your mushroom from?
oh, my brother, he's hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so this runs in the family.
Yeah, did you study chemistry?
No.
Did you study, what did you study?
Wilderness education survival. Living out in the
Really?
wilderness. Yes. So.
And all this is self-taught?
Yeah, I mean, I had to. I had, rebuilt my health over 14 years.
Wow. That's,
So.
congratulations.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
But it's obviously in your blood,
What's your
right?
brother up
Because your
to?
brother,
Yeah, he
He made kombucha tea.
yeah, he's hardcore. He's really hardcore. Him and his wife.
Where did they live?
They're in Austin, Texas.
so he should have the in at Whole Foods.
I am.
He's got to work that ankle
That's
better.
it right there.
Yeah.
You want an in at Whole Foods.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Huh. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
you're welcome.
yeah,
You're welcome.
you.
It's been fun.
So
Go
your
put your feet up.
website information will be on the bottle we get?
Yeah.
And so you're not going to come and sell anything here, are you? At one
Do you have
point,
anything
were
in
you
your trunk?
Nah,
Just
we
the
don't
almonds
sell
are- the
anything
almonds
here.
are crazy how good they are. They're crazy.
Do you ship your almonds?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We ship all over the world every day.
I do have a question for you. Do you know Pure Synergy?
Yeah,
What do you think about that compared with your, I mean,
I took
as
their
objective
product.
as you can be?
Back in the day, I took their stuff. I used Vitamineral Green. And then when I started making my own, they were very similar formulas, but then I took wheatgrass out and added more blue-green algae in place of it, and I never looked back. And I researched it. Well, here's the thing, is that wheatgrass has only been in the human diet for the last 40 years. It was back in the 70s where we were like, wow, greens
How did
for
we get- It
pennies.
tastes so awful. How did we ever come up with that?
And the thing with grass, while nutritive, it has its wear and tear in the gastrointestinal system. It's hard to digest. That's why when people have a wheatgrass shot, they're like, oh boy, here it comes. And people often feel a little queasy afterwards.
Yeah, it makes me feel nauseous pretty
Me
too.
too.
Yeah.
And when
So-
cows have, 4 chambers of their stomach to digest it?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So Synergy, Vitamineral Green, the other green formulas out there, they're in a base of wheatgrass.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And blue-green algae, like spirulina, chlorella, Klamath-like algae, those have been in the human diet all over the world for 100,000
Wait,
years.
People were eating pond scum?
Yes.
Why are they doing that?
It's a food.
Huh.
All over Asia, Africa, South America.
Really?
Yeah, it's been in the human diet except for kind of the last 80 to 100 years. It sort of dropped off. But I really do consider, I mean, remember I mentioned that green foods are the most important thing in our diet because it pulls the toxic funk out. That's the big picture, is we're always thinking about what calories, what nutrients. That's only half of it. The other half is pulling the funk out, pulling the toxic material out. You're taking that toxic burden off of all these sensitive things. It creates a bit of an unlocking of life force, if you will. Pull the funk out, put the restorative in. And so green foods are the number one thing for pulling the funk out. Remember, the darker green, the more green, the better. Blue-green algae is the highest source of chlorophyll of any food. That's why even a teaspoon of the greens in your morning green drink turns it so dark green that you can't see light through it. And so blue-green algae, it's been a diet forever, and it's extremely digestible. And so wheatgrass, again, it's a cheaper alternative. It's grass for it's greens for pennies.
And it's
Yeah.
actually wheatgrass, is that?
Well, you can get wheatgrass, barley grass, oat grass. There are a few.
So that's all that grass would be at the, like if you went to Whole Foods and they made you a green drink, it'd be one of those grasses.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never figured.
Well,
I
the
can't
wheatgrass
do
would
green.
be a
I'm gonna have
shot.
to learn.
They do the shot. The greens, that's like their juices, like where they're
Yeah, not
extracting
the
the
ones that
fiber
have
and
kale
just
in
having
it.
the.
Yeah, no, it's,
So can I ask you one more thing? What,
Yeah.
what do you think that perspiration plays in the role of detoxifying the body?
Minimal. Something, but most toxins are eliminated here and here. You breathe them out. That's why tongue brushes are really important. Better than just a toothbrush. You can go online and get
Scraper.
one. Tongue scraper, exactly.
What do you think? So
That's
I
interesting.
cholera tablets
Yeah,
that I can't stand.
chlorella.
Yeah, chlorella. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cholera would be the disease.
I was wondering.
Yeah, you haven't heard of them?
No, I thought,
All the
where are
way.
you traveling to?
I
Right.
can't stand chewing them.
Right.
Can I swallow them?
Yeah.
Okay.
and what does chlorella do?
It's a kind of blue-green algae. It's a good one.
I just really can't. And it also stains, so when I have them in
Yes.
the morning, my teeth and lips are stained
Right.
Oh
for
my
a
God.
long time. And I can't do that and go to work.
Right.
So
Oh,
they
green?
deep green, yeah. I mean, it's so intense, and I recognize how good they are for me, but I didn't know if I could swallow them.
Right.
And I've gotten online to look, and no one addresses it.
Right.
So thank you.
Yes.
I had to come all the way to California to
There you
to
go.
hear that.
Get
Yeah.
your
To
money's
get rid
worth
of your
those.
stained teeth.
Right, exactly. Very cool.
Cool. Well, go put your feet up.
Thank
Relax.
you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
So the
and
only way to get your stuff is to just order it online.
wow, we went over an hour. So, yeah, we require you to forget about your checkbook here. I mean, if you want, you